Good morning, Dragons. This is Miss McShane, your college and career coordinator. And today we are going to take a deep dive into the cost of college. All year long, we've been discussing the three methods of preparing for a career after high school, which is either being enlisted in a military branch, employed directly out of high school because you prepared in high school for the skill set you need to go right into the workforce to make a great salary, or you might be one of the students that need a little bit of additional training that you can get from either a technical college or a 4 year college or university. So, the purpose of today's lesson is we're going to really develop an awareness of the cost of colleges, which is going to vary from institution to institution. We're going to look at all the different factors that impact the cost of college. And again, that's going to look different for each and every student. We're going to describe some of the financial resources that are available to pay for college. And then I'm going to encourage you to have some discussions with your family on college planning. So today's activity, we're going to use some resources from college and technical college websites to determine what does it actually cost to earn either a 2 year associate degree or a 4 year bachelor's degree. And you're going to have the opportunity to either look at public institutions, private colleges, or the technical colleges to compare the cost of what those degree programs go for. You're even going to be allowed to choose out of state colleges or in state colleges as well. Just make sure if you're looking at out of state colleges, you're factoring in that that's going to be a very different tuition and fee rate than in state schools. So I want you to pay attention to this disclaimer right here. It doesn't matter if you are in ninth grade and you are just starting your journey on discovering what interests you and you have no idea if college or the military or going to work right after high school is, which one of those options are the best route for you. That's okay. It also doesn't matter if you're a senior and you've already been accepted to a college and you know exactly what your program major is going to be. What we're going to discuss today is how to make sure that you are not getting into student debt, that you know exactly what the cost of colleges are, and that you're budgeting accordingly. So let's say, for example, you're not even thinking that college is even going to be part of your plan. I still want you to pay attention to this lesson because it's super important for you to be well informed and to understand because plans can always change. So, one of the activities that we're going to do off of Georgia Futures is we're going to look at what are the expenses that go into a college education. Now, I've included this spreadsheet as an attachment in your Google Class Drive. But if we look over here on this left hand side, we've got some income, which means this is the sources of money that we need in order to cover the cost of colleges. So we have wages or a salary. So this could actually look like a part time job. So, for example, there are federal work study programs that you can work up to 20 hours, and those jobs are usually between $10 and $15 per hour. So after taxes, this is probably what working for one semester at that rate of maybe $15 an hour for 20 hours a week. This is probably the money that you're going to earn. So that's a great chunk of change that you can use to go towards your college expenses. This was just an example, and I used Valdosta State University only because they're just a very reasonable college in terms of the cost out of pocket. So let's go back and say if we're relying on any money from parents, this is just a ballpark. This is just an estimate. So your particular situation might look very different. You may have a bigger chunk of change coming from your family college planning, or you may actually have a zero number there depending on your family situation. Either way, it's okay. We're going to make this work. Student loans, we're going to talk more in depth in a quick minute, but I want to focus on scholarships and grants. These are is money that you don't have to generally pay back. There's different types of scholarships. There are the local scholarships, like the Jackson County outreach scholarships that are available right now. There's all kinds of those that you can apply for, and they run anywhere from between $500 and $2,000 ballpark. Then there are also the institutional scholarships that you can apply for at the same time that you apply for admission into a college. And then you can just get on all of those search engines that I've shared with you in the past, such as University Network, FastWeb. All of those have search engines that you can look for as well. The Hope Scholarship or Grant, I'm going to show you a link in a quick minute that the Hope Scholarship excuse me, pays for about 85 to 90% of your overall tuition. The Zell Miller actually pays 100% of your tuition at public universities and colleges only. I'm going to show you a tool that will actually break down what that number will look like, and depending on if you're going to a private or a public school. And there's another income. So let's say, for example, you've got a side hustle on TikTok and you're making some money. You can throw that in there as well. So in this case, so far the earnings for one semester, and I do want you to understand that this is for one semester, you've got this amount of money coming in. So let's check out and see what college actually costs. So we have housing and rent. This can actually look like staying on campus. So, for example, University of Georgia, they make it mandatory for freshmen to stay on campus depending on how far away you live from the campus. But then some colleges allow you to live off campus, so you might want to double up with some friends and reduce the cost of rent. But for Valdosta State, the average cost of student housing for one semester is this number right here. University fees, so you cannot get away from those. That has everything to do with parking, to some of your lab fees, to athletic fees, all kinds of things. Groceries and meal plans. So if you live off campus, obviously you're going to need to learn to budget your groceries and cook for yourself. If you are staying on campus, you might enroll into a meal plan, and those range all over the place from eating one meal a day to having an unlimited meal plan. But this is the average cost for one semester for an average meal plan. I left these next ones blank because this is going to kind of be up to you. You're going to need clothing. You're going to have to go shopping for some essentials. You're going to want to go to Chick-fil-A and to a movie every now and then. Transportation, whether you have your own car, you might have gas, bills to fix up the car every now and then. You might need new tires. You might have to pay insurance, or you might be relying on public transportation. So there's going to be some expenses built in there so that you can determine for yourself. So for Valdosta State, the tuition for a full-time load, which is 15 hours at Valdosta, is going to run about $2,732. They estimate that books and supplies cost around $600. Now, insurance and healthcare is huge. Most of you will not have this expense because if you're fortunate enough to still be covered on your parents' insurance, this won't be something out of pocket. But for some students who are having to go into the university healthcare system, you might have to pay $2,000 a semester out of pocket to be covered, and this is a mandatory requirement. So if we look at just those basic items without any of this, the cost of going to college at Valdosta State for one semester is going to be around $10,501. So if we look at our income up here, we're just about a hair shy. So we've got to write some scholarships or maybe even delve into the world of student loans to try to cover that cost. So what I'm really hoping that you will be able to do on this spreadsheet for an activity is I want you to go back into your georgiafutures.org and under college planning, scooch down to your college search. And I'm going to show you how I got this information off of Valdosta State. So when you look at your spreadsheet, I want you to find a college that you're interested in, and I want you to look at some of the expenses and that you're going to occur if you plan to attend there. So let's hop down to Valdosta. And if we go over here to the menu and look under admissions, we see financial aid. So here's all kinds of information for that. Let's hop back over here to, I saw a link that gave us paying for a college. All right, so here are all the tuitions and fees, and you can see the huge jump between in-state and out-of-state. So again, if you're looking at an out-of-state college, you'll want to make sure that you're putting in the right information. But here's a tuition and fee schedule, and this is exactly where I got the numbers from that I put into the spreadsheet. So every website from every college that's on here has a similar situation. You just kind of have to research it, and that's part of the skill building that we're going to do today. You can also look at the technical colleges. If, for example, if you're interested in Athens Tech or Lanier Tech, same thing. And then here we have our private colleges as well. Here's the tool that I want to show you, and I'm going to put this link in your Google Class Drive as well. But when we're looking at Hope and Zell Miller scholarships, remember these pay for associate degrees and bachelor's degrees. If we look under here under the award amounts, there is a filter, if you keep digging, that you can look at whatever college you are concerned with and look in display award amounts. And this will tell you for Hope. And again, a full time load is around 12 hours to 15 hours. So if you do 15 hours, your tuition rate is going to be $2,505. If you have Zell Miller, it's going to pay 100% of your tuition, which is this number right here. Okay. So you can kind of play around with this filter because I want you to pay attention to the private colleges. If we look, let's say I'm going to pick on Berry randomly here. And if we look at Berry, their standard rate for 15 hours is this number. Their Zell Miller program pays this, but their average tuition might be a couple more thousand than that. So it's not going to pay at the same 85 to 100% rate as the Hope and the Zell Miller will for public institutions. So just kind of be aware of that. There are some other kind of bridge the gap monetary amounts that you can get. And of course, your private colleges, their sticker price is never final like it is with a public institution. You can always negotiate and get some more scholarships and some of that tuition reduced. So going back to our slides here, what I'd like for you to play around with is just pick a couple of colleges. And again, you can include technical colleges in this if you'd like as well. And just kind of plug in these figures and get an idea of this is what college is going to cost. The video that I'm going to ask you to view once you get done with this is on this YouTube, and that's really going to take a real deep dive into student loans and how the FAFSA can assist students in helping find all kinds of resources as well. When you get done with that, of course, there's always going to be a Google form because we need your feedback, and I want to hear a little bit from you about what we can provide to you. But also, one last thing, this is for seniors only. Seniors, we are having a FAFSA family completion night. This is all of the federal aid that's available to you for scholarships, grants that you don't have to pay back. This is also going to help you determine if you are eligible for subsidized or unsubsidized loans. Subsidized loans means you don't have to pay interest while you're in college. And then also, you are going to see if you're eligible for Pell Grants and items like that. So, thank you for listening. And I'm going to sign off now and let you get busy on your activity.